Alrighty, I'm gonna try to get this one in. Excuse the voice. I'm fighting a cold right now. Today we're talking about the Boston Red Sox. Starting out with notable free agents and big contracts. The ones I would say in particular, O'Neill, Pivetta, Jansen, Jansen, Martin. That's about it. The rest kind of just fill out the roster. Big contracts. Rafael Devers. Didn't put a position for him because I think it'll change over the years. Trevor Story. He's barely played. He's been there like 2-3 years already. He has an opt-out after 2025, but that's not going to happen because he's making a lot of money, whether he plays or not. Giolito, similar, hasn't played too much, hasn't pitched too much, had an injury last year, maybe ready for next year, has a vesting option in 2026, which basically means he has to hit certain milestones to get that $14 million or else he'll become a free agent. And lastly, Masataka Yoshida, making about just under $19 million through 2027. And he's currently a DH, which is a bit of an issue. Next, we have the current team. This is on Fangraphs. What I'm seeing as the issues are the bottom of that rotation. You see the injuries I listed there. You got a picture of Fenway at the bottom. That's cool. Devers at third. Defensively, that's a bit of an issue. Hamilton and Rafaela starting. That's a bit of an issue. Offensively, Story hasn't played much, like I said. Yoshida taking up that DH spot is not ideal. Not because of his production, but just because it affects the whole dynamic of the team. Casas was out. Story was out. Abreu, offensively, still struggling, dealing with lefties, even though he's an older rookie. We go down to the prospects. We'll start with the pitchers quickly. Long story short with them, with what I'm going to do with the lineup and the rotation, they're going to be bullpen pieces at best, and in the minors, probably AAA at worst. Nothing really wrong with that. They're solid. All of them pitched in the big leagues for at least a little bit, a few innings, if not a little more than that. Then we have the big four. My take at this point is Anthony's ready. The other three need more time in AAA. I'll explain why a little bit further down, but that's just what I see, having watched them in AAA and AA this past season. So when we get to off-season needs, as I said there, pitching. I'll bring out some stats real quick to suggest why. We look at the pitching. This is from bottom to top in terms of being good. So you see the Rockies, bad. Marlins, bad. White Sox, historically bad. Angels, historically for a franchise, bad. Diamondbacks missed the playoffs because of their lack of pitching. And the Red Sox are right there in 8th. So that's not good. Gave up a lot of runs. Likewise, hitting-wise, they are 9th. A bit behind the Orioles and Yankees, but again, if you fix the other side of the ball, that should fix things. Back to the slides. I listed a bunch of pitchers. The ones with stars are qualifying offers, so you're going to have to give up a pick, which is not ideal. The ones with the carrot arrow looking thing, that means it's a trade target. There's the bullpen. As I say at the bottom, like I said in the last slide, actually, I'm letting most of the prospects continue to develop. O'Neill is a free agent, so you're going to need at least one right-handed bat. Backup catcher with the other guys that left, mainly Jansen. As I say at the bottom as well, FSG is not a spending group of owners. So we're going to have to work around that. I don't expect any of Adames, Arenado, Bregman to go. Get down to our moves. I think the big ones are the first two plus one of the bullpen signings. Yoshida, I'm going to adjust this real quick because I think this would be an overpay. But I was going through the prospects. I figure Yoshida plus a pitcher for Luis Garcia of the Mariners makes a lot of sense. Gonzalez is in Double-A currently. Yoshida fixes a lot of their offensive issues, and they actually shed some payroll by doing this. As I say there, Castillo's making about 25, Yoshida's making 18 a year. They're both 3 more years. Next, you sign Max Fried. Pretty self-explanatory. If they want to be cheap, then you could do something like Quintana and take a risk of Buehler for a year, or go even cheaper with Lorenzen. Tanner Scott's the big bullpen signing, 12 years, 12 million a year, 3 years. Need a backup catcher. And we'll add 1 infield bat, both right-handed, 1 infield, 1 outfield. So Paul DeYoung, Tommy Pham. Can look at the rest of that. And this is what we're left with.
How are you? Did you just wake up?
I think that's pretty solid.
Yes. I have a feeling you just woke up. Yes. How was your day?
Tell me what you all think.